Hi everyone, I hope you are enjoying Pisces season so far. I wanted to come on here and do a pick a card for you guys. So hopefully you are familiar with how these work. If not, then welcome to my channel, and it is so awesome to have you here. But pretty much every new astrological season that comes in, I will do a pick a card video that taps into the energies that will be affecting you during this time. So even if you are not Pisces, if you do not have strong Pisces placements in your chart, you're still likely to feel the effects of this cosmic energy because everything is energy, our souls are energy, and the the situation of the planets, of all of those various things, the energies that are coming in, they do have an impact on us. Okay. You may also have someone in your life with a lot of Pisces energy too, water energy. But even if you don't, again, these are certain themes and things that tend to come around. So I will list the decks down below that I'm going to be using. I will also timestamp this so that if you want to skip to certain ones, you can do so. And what I have something a little bit different planned with this, just in light of how what is encompassed within the Pisces energy, right? I guess I should go into that first. So Pisces energy is so gentle, very loving, very it can be very etheric too, very light, very dreamy. That's why this fairy statue, I think, wanted to be here. I've also got some other crystals that are here, including this bismuth mermaid tail, which I just love this thing. So, that being said, every zodiac archetype has the shadow too. So as much as the Pisces energy can be very dreamy, very much in flow state, they often have trouble staying grounded. They often have trouble anchoring their dreams and making them reality. I just thought these were so. I actually got these at Dollar General. I mean, I went in there for Valentine's Day stuff anyway a couple weeks ago, and I have other ones too I got, and they were just so cute, right? So we've got Let's Be Mermaids and Let Your Dreams Set Sail, but this is like you've got to actually anchor, and take action. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do this someday, or I want to do this someday, or maybe we can do this, and then there's no follow through. So that can be kind of the downside of the Pisces energy. Just there can be kind of too much of a flow, right? Sometimes, and very much, very, very emotional, very intense emotional energy, but also highly intuitive, as with all water signs, but Pisces especially can be very, very tuned into their emotions, and their intuition, I should say. So I was drawn to pull some additional cards from my Cosmic Order Oracle, and I've actually not used this deck. I bought it, I want to say, it's one of the more recent ones I've purchased in the last few months, but I've never used it. I was drawn to use it today. It's the Gateway of Light Activation Oracle by Kyle Gray. So I wanted to look at, in addition to the energies or the themes, or what may be coming into your life or exiting your life, or you may be working through over this next celestial cycle for the next 3 weeks or so, I also wanted to go into what type of light activations that you might be experiencing. And if you're not familiar with that, I won't go too much into it, but we have a lot of energy coming in constantly. It's really, really amped up. I feel like, just for me personally, I've heard a lot of people reference 2012, but I feel like 2017, and then just the last couple years. 2017 was when I awakened. I know a lot of people awakened around that time, and since really 2021, it's just been full speed ahead. And if you pay attention to, and this is all scientific, to space weather, to the alerts that come in with the solar flares, our bodies are affected by those things. And we do have, some people It happens at different times depending on certain I want to say aspects, certain pinnacles that you reach in your journey. There's a reactivation of DNA that has been dormant. So I don't know if this deck gets into that at all, but I just thought it would be interesting to talk about that. I was guided, like I said, to pull some cards on that. And so I probably will read from the booklet here too. I'm sure there's going to be some valuable information that doesn't show up on the card. So I'll do that at the end of each pick a pile. So again, what we're going to get into is the water sign vibe that's coming in for you during this time. That is from my self-created deck. I'm going to use my Tarot of the Sea deck to clarify. I've got a couple of other water themed decks that, again, I will list those down below. I've also taken a few of the cards from my Animal Totem Affirmations deck that pertain just to sea creatures, and I've pulled those out and then shuffled those, and then shuffled them and put them in the pile as well. So all these, yes, they were pre-shuffled to save time. I have not seen them, so you'll see if you're new to my channel. Sometimes I do take a few minutes to kind of try to process the messages at the beginning. So I think that's everything for now. Oh, other than if you do want to purchase any of my self-created decks, I would suggest that you go to my website down below. I do have a few on hand in my inventory that are marked down drastically from the prices, the list prices that are out there on my Make Playing Cards website. So those would ship directly from me. That is how you get the special pricing. If you're local to the Dayton area, you can do free pickup. So just message me for that or send me an email. So if you have any interest in that, let me know. And also if you'd like to book a personal reading to look into your specific situation, we can do that. Just go to my website down below, or again, send me an email. Sometimes that's easier than finding availability on my calendar. All right, so just to go over these, we've got Larimar, and these are all sea kind of themed vibes here. This beautiful Larimar sphere. We've got an Ammonite, which is a shell, and I actually don't know if these might be land creatures, but it just reminded me of a seashell and of that spiral that you often see with ocean creatures in their shells. And then we've got a Caribbean calcite skull. So this looks like it's got the beach literally like inside the crystal. I mean, the crystal was made of that. It's just one of my favorite crystals. Absolutely beautiful. So, all right. So number one is, again, the Larimar sphere. So we are going to go into number one right now. We will move these aside. And let's see what we got here. Okay. That's so funny. It's just funny when there's, the cards, it's like stuff I was just talking about comes out. Okay. Wow. Wow, this is some powerful energy. Of course, I'm not surprised because Pisces, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's one that really, there's a lot happening right now. So if you watch the intro, I was talking about how Pisces energy is extremely intuitive, and the vibe that came out is intuitive. So this is how I like to say you can't make this stuff up, right? So this just in general, right? Obviously, we're going to get into the clarifiers with the tarot. This is just perhaps a general, message from the universe, or, something that you're feeling more guided to do is to tap into your intuition, to start tapping into spirituality, to, you can see she's, her eyes are open, but it looks like she is meditating. She's meditating. And what's interesting to me too, is it almost looks like it's hard to see on the video, but there's like an earth. And obviously I had to cut the image off, right, to fit it into the template. But I think there is an earth, a globe there, and there's fire on the other side. And then there's this, like, I think I want to say that looks like the Om symbol. But it's like, to me, it's like becoming balanced with all of the elements in your life. and you can see she's smiling and the wind's kind of blowing, like it looks like her hair. So it's kind of like, to me, the more like you tap into your intuition, the more balanced you're going to be in all realms of your life, your passions, your finances, your career, your emotions, and taming. The more you tap into your intuition, the more you flow, and the better it's going to be to tame your anxiety, your thoughts, and get out of your head, and just trust that everything is happening the way it should be. Which going to one of the cards later on is have faith. Your prayers are manifesting. Remain positive and follow your guidance. Your guidance meaning your intuition. Your intuition, obviously, you may have guides working with you, angels, those types of things, right? But ultimately, your highest version of yourself, your higher self, your higher consciousness, that is, part of those higher realms where the guides, where the angels exist. And that is, everything is one. So you are being guided in that way. And so what I'm getting is a vibe of surrendering to your intuition more. You can see this reminds me of the Fool card in tarot, where you surrender, you take a leap of faith. It's like trusting, like it's really just saying, I'm following my heart here. I know what I need to do. So the tarot clarifiers we got are the Three of Wands and the Star. Those are absolutely beautiful. The Star is associated with Aquarius season. So we just came out of Aquarius season. So you may, it doesn't have to be, but you may be an Aquarius or have Aquarius, a moon or something like that, Aquarius in your chart. But the Three of Wands, I started the water here. The Three of Wands it's about, you can see how they're guiding, they're on a surfboard, guiding the flow. It's like, yeah, you're flowing, you're kind of just trying to surrender to the process, but you have control over that process too. It's not like she's like on strings, like a puppet on strings on the surfboard. She's using her body, her strength, and riding the waves. And she's not totally in control, right? But she has a part of the process. And I think that's what message you're supposed to hear today is about co-creation and coming into alignment with yourself and your path. So I feel like some of you also, may in Aquarius season have had kind of your life take a different direction. It may be that you're starting to go through an awakening, or you're starting to, you've maybe shift gears, right, with this Three of Wands to move forward out of a situation that maybe your intuition and your gut was telling you wasn't in alignment with your highest purpose. I'm getting for some of you, this was a romantic situation that maybe fell apart during Aquarius season. Or perhaps you've been trying to manifest someone coming into your life, and it's kind of like, having that faith that it's, that it's coming in. For others, if that doesn't resonate, this could be just about emotional fulfillment in your life, taking the steps, taking that leap of faith, following your intuition, right, to guide that surfboard in the direction that you want to go. To the water, it doesn't, it ties into our emotions, and our emotions are, a part of all aspects of our life. It doesn't just have to be in romantic situations, right? If we're miserable at our job, that can cause depression, sadness, and us to not be happy with our life because we're in a situation that drains us emotionally. So what I'm getting here, though, is, again, the more that you tap into your intuition and trust your heart, even though if it's not maybe what your head, you're questioning, like, can I really move forward and let this go? Or can I really take a leap of faith and take a chance on something that's kind of, I feel like something maybe is burning at you, like you're desiring to take action forward, but there may be fear. You can see here with the Star card, it's absolutely just gorgeous. It's like probably my favorite card in the tarot, honestly, just in general, not just this deck. Um, but you can see how she's it's kind of maybe hard to get the vibe, not looking at the card, in real time in person, but she's kind of like, oh, she's kind of hesitant, like, oh, this is meant for me? What is this? Like, you can tell she's kind of hesitant, seeing all these beautiful things coming in or seeing the possibilities. And that's too, again, where I was getting at earlier with Pisces season being a time where, we can be very dreamy. We can be very much like fantasy land. I feel like some of you, it's like you're afraid to go for it because you feel like it's not something that could ever happen for you. And I'm getting that it's more like, in this case, it's more likely a fear that's holding you back. I'm getting that you're this, whereas Pisces energy, like I was saying, the shadow can be that somebody's too in the flow, too in their intuition, too just like, yeah, I'm going to do this and do that and then not take any action. I'm getting that you are very grounded and perhaps like you need to be more in the flow and more in the, yeah, it's good to take concrete steps, but it's also okay to just dabble in something and see how it goes. That because we got as a clarifier from the depths of the sea oracle, the dip, testing the waters. So that's where it's like, I'm a little bit afraid to go all in here. I'm a little bit afraid to put my heart out there or put myself out there in this way. But what's interesting for me here, and why I mentioned the romantic thing first, is for the animal totem affirmation, we got the penguin, which penguins are animals, I believe, that mate for life. They find their soulmate penguin, and it's like so this was the reason that I chose the penguin for the sacred union affirmation. And I'm pretty sure there's only one sacred union affirmation. There might be one other one. I think Swan has one as well. But this says, I follow my heart and trust the journey leads to sacred union. So this is about, again, trusting your intuition, trusting your heart, and knowing that even if you're going through a difficulty right now, like I said, if something was closed out during Aquarius season, it was meant, everything, the star is about destiny and alignment. Just because something doesn't last, it doesn't mean it wasn't destined to happen. It was destined to happen for a purpose, for you to learn and grow on your journey. And you've got to have faith, right? Your prayers are manifesting, remain positive, follow your guidance. It's just like this was another stepping stone to get you to the next level, is what I'm hearing. And, keep in mind too, and I'll just say, from my standpoint, of where I am on my journey, sacred union to me means something a lot different than it did when I created this deck 2 years ago, right? So, just to give you an example, it didn't come out in this reading, but in my Tarot of the Sea deck that we're using here, I changed the Ten of Cups from the traditional, like, soulmate couple, like, happy ending to a woman that's completely in alignment with herself and glowing and magnetic and drawing amazing things to her. So that's, for some of you, I think maybe shifting the focus off of like, where you should be in your life or what being in union looks like. It's ultimately at the end of the day about being happy. And, I've said this has become my mantra, like the last month when like the light bulb finally went off for me. And it's like, oh my God, it's not really the thing or the person that I really, really wanted all this time, right? It was the feeling that I thought that they would give me, that they would, them being in my life, or this XYZ happening. And it's not, it's about that feeling. And so once you can find the feeling in other things, healthy things, right? For me, it's been Pound Fitness. It's been, doing stuff, creating tarot decks and things like that. It's like, that joy of doing my own thing, and gosh, it's like in those moments there's nothing else I'd rather be doing, right? And so for some of you, you've got to have faith, because when you keep getting this card, when you're trying to manifest something, and again, this is a card, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my first oracle decks that I purchased in 2017. How many times did I get this card? It's manifesting, it's going to happen, and it never did, right? But it actually did. It being the thing that I thought I wanted never manifested, but eventually, because it didn't manifest, I was forced to create the feeling myself, and in my own life, and in my own joys and my own experiences. So if you start to get frustrated with your journey at some point too, where it's like you do have control over it. It's just sometimes maybe changing the focus away from, right, this 3 of Wands, like the surfboard. I've got to go to I'm going to a specific point with a specific person, and it's like, how about focusing instead on, I'm just going to be so blissfully happy every day in my life that and more and more amazing things are coming in. And then it's kind of like you get to a point where you lose, you don't have as much focus on having one specific thing happen. And when you have that, that's being in full surrender, I guess, is where I'm going with this. So for some of you, I am getting a message about testing the waters, intuitive, have faith. I'm getting, like, if you are feeling guided to reach out to someone, to take a leap of faith, be it apply for a job, be it go for an opportunity, be it, initiate contact with someone, or if you're out and you meet someone and you get good vibes, testing the waters, that's okay. And it's good to be cautious. I feel like that's a good balance, right? Sometimes with Pisces energy, it's kind of like all in too quickly. Like, you're enamored, and it's like, they feel so much so fast. So what I'm getting that the best thing that you can keep doing to go forward on your journey is to get into this state where, you're connected to spirit, to source, whatever it is that you identify with on your journey. And that will help keep you balanced in all ways. That will help you start getting clarity on the things that you should be focusing on. It'll help you get in alignment. It'll help you overcome your fears to maybe take a chance, take that leap of faith in certain things, and recognize that when you are in this surrender and flow state, you may be going a certain way, and then that door closes and another door opens, and it doesn't mean it's right or wrong, right? So it just means that you're going with the flow. And when you don't get attached to, well, it's got to be this way, or it's got to be with this certain person, or it's got to be through this channel that this opportunity comes in, you start just, okay, this isn't here, but I'm being shown this, and that's okay. So I'm just getting, be very open, be flexible, and trust your intuition there. Okay, so now we're going to go to the activation. So from the Cosmic Order Oracle, we got Soul Family and we got Christ Consciousness. These are some amazing cards. And what's interesting is we got the Soul Star activation, fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, guys, because I flipped through the deck a little bit. Not all of these cards are going to be tied to, that's definitely tied to soul family. Soul contracts, soul family, remembering who you are. Soul family is, the people that you start attracting into your life that are high vibrational, that, are in alignment, like the star says, that are in alignment with where you are in your journey. Once you start connecting to soul family, it is, again, it's hard to let go, but sometimes people do fall out of our lives. We may have friends, we may have family, there may be romantic relationships that have fulfilled their purpose, that maybe was a soul contract that its time is up. You fulfilled that, right? And you're starting to attract in your soul family, and your vibration is raising and changing, and therefore the people you associate will. And so that can be a challenging process. But at the same time, it's beautiful because when you surrender to that and you start making healthier choices, maybe some people were toxic, or you start realizing there was codependency, more than there was genuine like growth and support and getting to the next level. It's like if you're stagnant, right? When you start attracting in soul family, you up level and you start attracting in opportunities too, right? It's like this whole thing just starts catapulting. Christ consciousness. This is about oneness. This is about living from the heart. This is in traditional religious beliefs, it's Christ is gonna come swoop down from the sky and take us all to salvation, right? And in New Age or different modalities, however you want to call it, spirituality, and this is what I believe, that when people go through spiritual awakenings and they start to clear away the toxicity, they start to work on themselves, they start to raise their vibration, they start to not engage in drama, they start to, truly, help others and care for others and live from the heart. That's like the sacred heart of Christ. That is the unconditional love of God, of what God is, and recognizing the oneness. This is about like all living things too. This is about it may sound silly, and I never thought I'd be the one to do this, but like 99% of the time, like I won't kill an insect if it's in my space. Now if it's like big nasty ones, that's another story. But even spiders, small spiders, things like that, centipedes, like I put them outside. It's just like that level of love and respect. I had an amazing experience I shared here a few years ago in Sedona with a wasp that I saved in the pool, and I threw it out onto the concrete. I just was astounded to see it was grooming itself like my cats do. It was taking its little, I don't know what you even call it, like its little leg, and it was wiping its head off like my cats lick themselves and groom themselves. And I just burst into tears. It was just the most precious, beautiful thing, right? And I feel like I had like another level of awakening. And that's my point about that whole story, is that's Christ consciousness. What would Jesus do, right? That is, we live it, right? We live it, and we can connect to that, right? This is about our intuition connecting to the divine. You can call on Christ, right? If you've come from a traditional background with religion, Jesus is an ascended master. Jesus was real. Jesus is an ascended master. So I'm not saying that isn't the case. I'm saying that his energy is infiltrating the earth right now. And it may seem dark and it may seem ugly, but the light is rising. And the more we anchor that in our hearts, and we attract soul family that are doing those things, they're uplifting each other and uplifting the people around us. That's what I feel like you're being called to do, or it may already be happening for you or coming in soon. So let's see what the soul star activation card says. Let's see. Hopefully these are in alphabetical order. Yes. Okay. The soul star chakra is the energy center that is found around 6 to 12 inches above the crown and connects us directly with soul wisdom. It is our gateway to the etheric realms, which hold all the lessons of all the incarnations that we've experienced. Through our soul star, we access information and wisdom, like a computer connecting to the internet through broadband. Instead of having to move through the dimensions to access the information, we can remain connected at all times and download support as necessary. I mean, doesn't it look like she's getting a download? I mean, this is really about tapping into that, to those higher realms. The Egyptian god Horus appears on this card as our spiritual guide. For you guys. His hawk-headed image is said to illustrate his connection to the sun, moon, and stars. As a keeper of energetic portals to hidden realms, he can help us remember our starry origins, open psychic visions, and connect directly with the wisdom that's held in the stars. Imagine yourself in a wide open space under a night sky filled with the stars. Say, Horus, cosmic sky guardian, thank you for activating my soul star chakra so I can remember on a soul level. Through your previous journeys, you have learned much about the inner workings of your soul and about the cycles of karma. So yeah, I mean, I was picking up on some sort of a karmic cycle that, you know, perhaps you were moving through that, working through that in Aquarius season to become in alignment with yourself. Before this incarnation, you set a powerful intention to remember your divine origins. At this point, you are in a powerful space for you remembering who you truly are, and you know that you have it within you to make a great difference in your own life, the lives of others, and of course the world. This remembering is in alignment with the soul contracts you made before coming to this realm. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, guys. Alignment, that's the star. And it's the soul star is the card. If you find yourself worrying if you are making the right decisions, know that even if you aren't conscious of it, all you have chosen so far is in accordance with your soul's evolutionary plan. And when you draw this gateway, you are opening up on higher levels. That is so, so beautiful, guys. I didn't plan on this one being that long, but there was a lot to cover there. So what a beautiful reading. So we're going to move on to pile 2 now. So pile 2 is the Ammonite. All right. Again, the Ammonite is the spiral. Let's see what comes out there. Unpredictable. Ooh. Let's see here. Okay, so what I'm getting is an energy from the past that is affecting you currently, which is often the case. But it's preventing you, I think, from moving forward. Okay, and I think that might be interestingly why maybe you were drawn to this, is this does represent kind of like karmic lessons, patterns, cycles, things repeating over and over. So we have unpredictable. That is the water sign vibe that showed up for you. So unpredictable, it's like you know, obviously you know what that word means, I'm sure. It's like you never know what this person's gonna do. I feel like you had somebody who was maybe a lot of fun, maybe there was a lot of chemistry, and you really kind of fell in for them hard. And that might be why maybe these things, you know, maybe you're feeling the emotions more now, because the depths, you know, we're in the depths of Pisces season. And like I said, it can be a very emotional time. And we just had the Pisces new moon as well, where that might have brought some stuff kind of to the surface as far as fears moving forward based on what happened with this person. And so I'm getting, so the tarot that we're getting with this is the 4 of Cups. And this is an energy of kind of like missed opportunities. Missed opportunities here. It's kind of like, I feel like somebody, like maybe you're afraid, like if this person keeps coming back, like what if maybe if I just give them one more chance. Maybe if I just give them one more chance, it'll be different. And maybe you did give them multiple chances, and it wasn't different, right? And it's like the same thing keeps repeating itself. I'm getting that you may be, we'll get to this later. I mean, I'm doing this kind of all in tandem, but we're going to get to the light activate, you know, the activation that's happening for you now. But it does tie to the solar plexus, which is tied to our willpower and our confidence. So I think this is like you having the confidence to move forward and to stop giving this person second chances, is what I'm picking up on as an overall energy. We've got the Queen of Cups here. The Queen of Cups could represent you. This is like, you know, a very loving, nurturing person. But you can see in this deck, you know, she's holding her pet. She's holding her cat. A lot of times, traditionally, the Queen of Cups is a mother, or, it shows her like, with a, a partner. I chose this one for a reason, just because it was a deck kind of based on where I'm at in my journey. But to me, this is, an energy of focusing your love on maybe things that aren't traditional, if that makes sense. Right? So for me, it was always like, oh, the Queen of Cups, she's going to be a mama, she's going to have this role, this is the way it's going to go. No, it doesn't have to be that way. So you know what? I'm putting a cat that looks like my cat on this card. And that's my baby, right? So I think this is like, maybe there's like this, you wanted this to work so badly and keep giving second chances because of that stereotype or archetype where it's like, well, this is how it's supposed to look. My life is supposed to look this way. I'm supposed to have this person by my side, or I'm supposed to have them be, if they're the father of your children or something like that. Right? And I am getting that this person does genuinely feel sad, right? I think they do feel for you. They do have, I feel like they do have good intentions when they come back around each time, but there's just something within them that's broken, right? As many of us have broken, and when I say broken, I don't mean that it can't be fixed, but it's not your job to fix them. They have to fix themselves. We all have child core wounds, things that, cause us to repeat patterns in situations, and things that make us unpredictable. So I do get this feeling that like they and if this helps you like try to make sense of the situation, I don't think they have bad intentions when they come back and ask for a second chance, but I'm getting that for whatever reason they're just not capable of diving in, right? It's like they're fully exposed, like above the surface, like, oh yeah, but in the shallows. But when it's time to dive in and go deep, they don't go underwater. They don't go further than that. And they get scared, or for whatever reason, then they realize they miss an opportunity, and, because we got bubbles here, second chances. But I mean, the bubbles in my mind, I didn't create this deck, so I don't know the rationale behind it. But when I see bubbles are fleeting. They're there, but then the bubbles burst, right? They burst pretty quickly. Now, what we have coming as far as advice from spirit, though, with the animal totem affirmation, we have the crab, we have, I am safe to open my heart. So what I'm getting is, this is something that, has happened, in your past, that perhaps is holding you back from moving forward. You're so scared to move forward, to make a decision. Like, I'm not personally getting that this ties back to this person. This, I'm safe to open my heart and let yourself receive. I'm getting that you're having trouble moving forward with opening your heart to other people, or you're afraid, like, how can I possibly feel this way about someone else? So you maybe keep getting stuck in this cycle about wanting to give them second chances, okay? And so what I'm getting is, Spirit is trying to tell you it's safe to open your heart again to the possibilities of, this is not all there is for you. That's what I'm getting. This is not all there is for you. You have a lot of love to give. You have a lot of love to give. And just because this person can't show up and stay, it doesn't mean that you have to close yourself off in the shell, or think that your life is over, or that you're not going to find someone else to share your life with. And it will be a process, certainly, slowly, to open your heart, right? And I think that's like a crab, like, they can get, down, and this could be Cancer energy too, if you are dealing with a Cancer, or you're a Cancer, doesn't have to be, but it's like they just close themselves off and put this hard shell around them. And so it is important to have boundaries. It is important, if you've went through this situation where somebody's in and out of your life and hurts you and is not trustworthy. But if you look back, if you think back, right, and we've all been through these types of situations, chances are there were red flags in the beginning or within a few months. Usually, for the most part, people show you who they are pretty quickly. Usually about 3 to 4 months in, if you haven't noticed red flags immediately, you start to notice things. You start to notice their patterns. You start to notice how, they handle conflict or they don't. There are rare occasions where people kind of go through like a massive midlife crisis or something, or some kind of crazy change, and it's like they completely change, like, and it's years and years into a marriage. That does happen. So I'm not saying that's not possible, but a lot of times if you look back, there were things that maybe it's like, oh, right, and it's we're so indoctrinated, I think is the word I'm looking for, with what a normal relationship is. And I don't know what the statistics are, but I would venture to say probably 80 or 90% of normal relationships are toxic or unhealthy. People stay with each other because they're codependent. People don't know how to communicate because of their inner child wounds. They don't even know they have inner child wounds. They don't even know how to talk about it. They don't even know how to start fixing it. And I myself, the relationships that I had in 20, really like my last marriage prior, I had all of that too. So I'm not judging because I see it now. And the only reason that I, sat down and like I was actually forced by the universe on the path I'm on when I went through my awakening, when I was, catapulted onto the twin flame journey, the purpose of that was to bring all those wounds to the surface, for me to be triggered outside of a relationship, to face and heal those things. And it's an excruciating process, right? Most people don't have those experiences. Most people, and conscious is the word, I'm looking for, a conscious relationship, a consciousness about who they are and why they are the way they are, and looking at, family patterns and ancestral patterns and all those things. And I guess, where I'm going with this is, most relationships are going to have those unhealthy patterns from the beginning. We just don't realize that it's toxic or unhealthy because it is unfortunately the norm in our society, for the most part, for people to just be together, to just, oh, I'm supposed to have a partner, I'm supposed to be with somebody, so I'm going to put up with XYZ because I can't be alone, or I don't want to be alone, or I want to have a family, right? So what I'm getting is that, like, you're learning and growing and learning to stand on your own 2 feet, and create your own routine that is predictable, right? You don't want somebody just coming in and shattering your peace. Once you find your new routine, your new life, and your new joy, it's like you're going to have those boundaries up, but you're also going to be more aware of things to watch for. Are people being too pushy? Are people trying to move too fast? Are they attacking you? Are they gaslighting you? Are they being passive aggressive? Or are they willing to talk about how they were raised and how that affects who they are, and maybe go to counseling together to work through these issues, right? So if somebody's not willing to make conscious efforts from the start, those are things to consider, right? But I'm getting that, like, you are safe to move forward. You're going to find somebody that does show up for you. It may take some time though, and I'm getting, it's maybe looking at yourself, focusing on where you've had patterns, where you've allowed yourself to be treated to, why do perhaps there are, if there's a family involved, understandably, the desire would be to make that work and keep the family together. So that's for sure. But maybe before there was a family, before there were kids, were there things, patterns, and things you put up with? Why did you put up with that, right? A lot of times it's fear of being alone. And when we start recognizing, again, that you may want to watch number 1, because I go into this some more in number 1, that it's not the thing, or the person that makes us happy. It's or that we really want. It's the feeling of security. It's the feeling of joy. It's the feeling of happiness. We think another person is going to give to us, but we have to find everything we need within ourselves to have a truly healthy relationship, not just with ourselves, but with someone else. And so often that does require us to take a lot of time spending alone, to really getting to know ourselves and working through these things. But what I'm getting too is that perhaps you've closed yourself off from like letting people help you and take care of you. And perhaps you're like, well, feeling this guilt or something like I need to do everything for my kids because of the situation, you know, with if it's a marriage falling apart, right? This is like, you don't have to be in that flight or fight all the time. Like, you know, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to accept help. It's okay to take time for yourself. You've got this let yourself receive, allow others to give you loving care, receive without guilt or apologies. Okay, it's okay if you need to get a sitter and go get a massage, or just take a walk outside in nature and get some downtime. But I am getting strongly that this is like multiple second chances with all these bubbles here, and the bubble always bursts, and you shouldn't beat yourself up over that either, right? Because this all was part of a lesson, and that's all this journey is. It's constantly a spiral, constantly. No matter how much work I've done on myself over these last few years and gotten to a point where, oh yeah, I'm happy with myself or this or that, like I still find, you know, I still get kind of the same lessons repeating themselves in different ways, in different people, in different situations. It becomes more of like recognizing it, like, okay, and then not letting it affect you as much, right? It's kind of like my heart is open and it's like, okay, well, if this doesn't work out, okay, yeah, it was just another lesson. It's okay. It's all right. I'm safe. I'm secure. I've got happiness and everything I need within me. It's easier said than done. So that's where I'm getting that there might be, like I said, a lot of work to work through these things, or a lot of time. It might take a lot of time to work through these things. What's interesting to me is that we've got 2 planet cards that came out of the 77 cards in my cosmic order. You know, there obviously are, you know, the number of planets, but there's some celestial bodies, some other celestial bodies that are in the deck. But to get 2 planets, that's very interesting. Mercury is about communication. I think Uranus is tied. It's funny. That's one of the planets. I don't have my booklet. I did create a booklet for this one. I don't have it with me. I think it's kind of more about change, like revolution. I'm pretty sure is the planet. Pluto is too, but I feel like Uranus, like these outer planets. I think this is about being more setting boundaries more in your communication. Because Uranus energy, it's an outer planet, like I said, can be more cold. There also could be something coming up for you in the next Mercury retrograde, just to watch that this person may try to come back again. But I'm getting that you're going to be, with this Uranus energy here, much more like, you know, Queen of Swords vibe, like I'm not doing this again. Like you just, you know, you may be tested again is my point, and I'll have to, I don't have my phone with me. I think the next Mercury retrograde might be in April, but do not quote me on that. But you can just Google it and find out when the next Mercury retrograde is. And don't like dwell on it and think, oh, you know, something's going to happen. It's just, you know, with this card coming out, there could be like another lesson for you there, or it could be a time of culmination for you in this situation moving forward. So let's see the solar light upgrade. Solar plexus chakra, inner fire, willpower. So this is the light activation that you're being given right now. I'm getting, like I said earlier, I was getting that you're getting the confidence to finally move forward, and put up those boundaries and say, you know, I'm done doing this. Like, you know, I'm done playing these games, is what I'm hearing. The solar plexus chakra is found just above the belly button in the pit of the stomach. It's the energetic gateway that governs our gut, our instincts, and on an energetic level, our willpower and drive. This space can be described as a glowing sun. It is the space of warmth that gives us the necessary focus and energy to fulfill our purpose and realize our dreams. When the solar light gateway opens, our solar plexus becomes an infinite well of light in the pit of our being. This is a source of daily inspiration and ancient wisdom. When we feel our willpower increasing, we are remembering that we have prepared for many incarnations for the opportunities we have today. That's interesting about the willpower. It's like you're getting the willpower, you're being infused with this willpower to move forward from this situation, right, onto something that's more solid. You know, and you may, if you are having these solar upgrades and, you know, don't latch onto this, but if you have been having more issues with your stomach lately, it can definitely, we're getting blasted in our solar plexus. We can, you know, have stomach aches, digestive issues. We may not have an appetite at all. We may have a ravenous appetite, and just flow with that and just do what your body needs. Okay, so it says connect, place both your hands on the pit of your stomach, breathe to them, visualizing a great fiery light switching on. Call your solar power up and out. The light of the great central sun is shining on you, activating you to push onward and create. This is a perfect time to move forward with projects, goals, and intentions. Align your energy with whatever you are ready to create and experience. Focus on what you're ready to grow and where you are ready to expand. As you focus on your goals, you are giving them energetic encouragement to flourish and open, like the warm summer sun kissing the ground, encouraging the flowers to grow and bloom. That sunlight has arrived. It's here in you now. And I'm getting that it's like maybe finally finding the light at the end of the tunnel, to move out of this situation. If you are feeling issues in your solar plexus, your stomach, yellow crystals are great for that. There's yellow jasper, but I really like pineapple calcite or yellow calcite. It's a really good one. You can actually lay it on your stomach when you're lying down, or you can hold it and meditate with it. But yeah, I'm getting very strongly here that something's lit a fire in you, I think, to finally move forward and close the door on this chapter of your life. And I would just encourage you to not get too caught up in your masculine energy, the going forward, the momentum, the like, I'm pushing through this. And, you know, the I am safe to open my heart can be like, don't close yourself off, don't close your heart off, don't get too in your masculine, where you're just powering through, and you're not really feeling anything. So you may still have a lot of emotions that need to be processed. Apache tear crystals are great for that as well. And again, let yourself be pampered. Let yourself, you know, take care of yourself through these times, and don't feel guilty about that. So I would hope that was helpful for you. Number 2, we are going to move on to number 3 now. So number 3, okay. Number 3 is the Caribbean calcite skull. All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we got Pisces coming out. Wow. This is, again, some potent energy here. Number 1 was pretty potent, too. Okay, so the vibe that came through was escapist, which is Pisces energy. So in this water sign vibes deck, there are, I think, 2 shadow cards for Pisces. So not all the cards are shadow cards tied to a specific sign. So it's very interesting that Pisces energy came through so strongly. Escapist, I mean, that is more like escaping reality, like living in a fantasy world. It's literally like, it's a book that she's walking on water. It's kind of like la la la, like, you know, it's like a fairy tale, like caught up in, like, but you're drowning. That's what I'm getting. It's like, you know, we have the death card here. And don't worry if you're not familiar with tarot, it does not literally mean death. It is a figurative death. It means transformation. It means transformation and growth. I'm getting this is tied to somebody coming in and out of your life. I'm getting like it could feel like a past life connection. But somebody's like been hot and cold. You know, you may think of them as kind of like, you know, this really deep, intense soul connection. It's interesting, very interesting too. I just picked up on this, that we have the death card, which has the skull on it in the sea, and look what's here. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, guys. I don't even know what to say when this stuff happens. It's like I don't even know. I mean, over the years, it keeps stuff like this happens all the time, and my mind is blown, right? But you can see that the skull is underneath the water, but there's new life above it. There's life growing above this. This also looks like a shark under here, right? It's like this person I'm getting is not trustworthy. I'm getting that, like, it's, and this may sound harsh, but it's like it's a fantasy at this point that this person is going to settle down and follow through and and be the partner, or the person that you need. Now, this could be tied to friendship too. I mean, friendship, or somebody that's wanting to engage in some sort of project with you or something. I'm getting that for some of you, but somebody's like toxic. A toxic cycle keeps repeating itself, because we have the Maiden of Wands here. This is akin to the Knight of Wands, and I just did maidens in this deck. And the Knight of Wands, of all the cards, like, they're the playboy. They're the Casanova, like the, hey, we're going to have fun. Kind of tied to Sagittarius energy. I don't know, if Sagittarius is, take it as it applies, if it applies. But they're very much hot and cold, lover boy, like, in and out of your life, kind of, they don't stick around. They don't commit. And I'm getting that, like, this is wearing, it's like this cycle is worn out, because that's the other clarifier we've got, worn out. It says sun hat. So, I mean, for some of you, I mean, this image, of this type of hat, this person could wear that type of a hat, or maybe you hung out on the beach together. But I'm getting a lot of times that it's just like you lounging there by yourself. Like, you're left, like, they ghost you, or they say they're going to make plans and then they don't follow through, and then you don't hear from them. And then as soon as you're about ready to move on, they come back into your life. I'm getting that, like, this, you're getting worn out with this, and it's like, perhaps you were drawn, obviously drawn to this maybe because of the death, but Caribbean calcite is one of the most beautiful crystals, and it's a very calming. It's like being at the beach and having the water, like, lap up, like, very gently on your feet, and it's warm. The sand is warm, imagine that, and then it's like the cool water, and it's just very peaceful. That's what you're seeking, and that's what this person does not provide you. They don't provide you with that solace, like that comfort. What I'm getting is that this person, I'm getting very strongly that this person has come into your life, perhaps to awaken you, to serve as a catalyst for your growth. So you may identify, again, I don't like labels, but you may identify with the twin flame concept, soul connection, past life soulmate, something like that. But the affirmation that came through was the oyster. And as you know, oysters, they produce pearls sometimes from all the grit and the grime and the stuff that's uncomfortable, right? Imagine how it would feel to get sand, like, under your tongue, right? And you have to keep it there and keep it there, and it's like you deal with it and you keep working through it until you produce this beautiful pearl that you make yourself. That's why I chose this for this affirmation. I trust that triggers bring growth and treasures. So this is about you being triggered so much to the point, like, where it's like this person is showing you how they're not showing up for you so that you learn to show up for yourself. They're not loving you properly, but they're teaching you how to love yourself. They're teaching you about boundaries. They're teaching you about self-worth. So they may have definitely triggered, I'm getting, the rejection wound, the self-worth feelings. They may have come into your life, like, as you were going through a dark night of the soul, as you were starting to awaken and you felt this deep, intense past life connection. You may be feeling like you're going through a dark night of the soul, trying to let them go. So I've been there in both regards with the same connection, right? Them coming in during the dark night of the soul and then going through a dark night of the soul, letting, a couple of different times, right? Letting that fantasy go, pulling myself back down to reality of, like, what is really happening here? This person is not they're a Knight of Wands, they're not showing up. And the Death is about letting that go and transforming. And it's about how this connection can, create a new version of you, and it does. And it's actually a beautiful gift. There are times, many times it can bring you down to your knees, and just be like, oh my God, like what the heck? But you got to focus on the pearl, right? So it's like each time I was triggered in the beginning, it was gutting. And it happened over so many years, right? 2017, 2018, 2019 were just horrendous. 2020 got better, but it was bad. And then it got to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not even triggered anymore. Or if it's a slight ooch, it's just like, because the more time you spend alone, the more time pursuing your passions and finding joy within yourself, it's like, that's what you choose. You choose that peace. You choose that over this worn out fairy tale, this worn out story that keeps repeating over and over. And you get to the point where you don't feel the rejection anymore, because you recognize that it was never about you, it was about them. But there's that mirroring aspect, right? So when they run, you feel like it's because you weren't good enough. They're running because they don't feel good enough, right? It takes a long time. As much as people could say over and over, you need to move on, you need to move forward, let go of the fantasy, blah, 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 blah. Until you go through it multiple times, it takes a long time. It doesn't have to take a long time, right? But I'm just saying, in my experience and many people's experience, it takes a long time for that oyster to come out of the situation. That oyster, the pearl, the oyster to come out of the situation with a pearl in it, right? But each time you're triggered, and the more time that goes by, and you work through those wounds and those emotions and those things, and then you clear out all that gunk, and then you find joy. And that's the key. When you find joy in every day, and you realize that this person isn't going to bring you that, in fact, they just bring you drama and pain and disappointment, your life changes. What I love here, this is like further confirmation to move forward on your journey, is explore your options. It's time to look at other possibilities. It's a good time to make changes. All right, explore your options. So don't sit around waiting and hoping that this person is going to come back, and wake up and recognize your worth. Again, it's not about your worth, it's about theirs. They're unhealed. If they're not able to show up and be in your life and show up as a king, right? You don't want a knight, you want a king. It's not a sign of anything for you've done. It's their issue. But you have to work on healing that which they are triggering in you, to feel like that you aren't worthy of anything other than them coming back and riding in on their white horse. And it's very hard to hear these things. But I promise in time it does get better. Apache tears are a great crystal to work through grief. Also really sitting down and looking at the wounds that might be affecting you on your journey. And I would highly recommend, if this is resonating, that you look at, there'll be a link down below in this video and all my other videos to the walkthrough for my Triggers and Shadows Oracle deck. It is the first Oracle deck I created in 2020. It was inspired by this exact journey, this situation of the types of things that were triggered in me, and that I know were triggered in the other person, that are triggered in other people, in these mirroring dynamics. All those child core wounds, or all of the things why we might feel insecure in a situation. So it is a deck walkthrough, but I do walk through each card and show you all the different triggers and shadows that can be there. So one or more might jump out at you. Then you can look into, for example, if rejection jumps out at you, or abandonment, or father issues. You can Google, okay, how do I work through my father issues, my father wounds? How do I work through my rejection wound? And you can start then reading articles and maybe even go to counseling for it, right? But you can really start working on that, figuring out ways that if it is a father wound, write your father a letter to get out all the things you want to say and burn it. Or maybe get out all the things you want to say if he's still alive and you have a relationship. So there are a lot of different ways that you can go about starting to tackle this, and there's no right or wrong. It's what feels right to you. So for the Cosmic Order Oracle, we do have Dark Night of the Soul. That's why I picked up on that. This is like the very rock bottom where you just feel so gutted and hopeless. Hopefully you're not in that energy now. Hopefully it's more like this person came to you and sparked that awakening, you know, as a past life connection. But, you know, if you are in the dark night of the soul, just know, see, the light is there. The light is there. And that's when we are at the point where we're supposed to try to, you know, we have to go within ourselves and connect to source, connect to our inner knowing. And so if that's something that, you know, you need help with, I do offer, you know, as part of my customizable sessions, it's not all about tarot. It can be about talking about going through a spiritual awakening and talking about how do I start working through these triggers and shadows, and how do I start healing myself, and how do I get out of this dark place, right? So that's something that I can help with too. So for your activation, Sirius star blessings. Yes, proceed, be seen, push through. I mean, I'm going to read the booklet, but right there that's telling me, yes, like I'm getting, it says be seen, push through. Like this person, you know, isn't showing up for you. You aren't feeling seen. Push through, proceed, move forward, and like go to the light. Like, look at this. You can't make this stuff up, you guys. I mean, this looks so similar. I would say maybe do some research into the Sirius star seeds. See if that you identify with that. Look into spiritual awakening, Sirius star seed. You might be surprised at some of the things that start coming up that you recognize that, you know, you went through in your life. So let's read this here. If I can find it. Here we go. Sirius is the brightest star in the sky and was of the utmost importance to the ancient Egyptians. Okay, again, can't make this stuff up. Past lives, ancient Egyptians. So you may have ties or spirit line connected back to ancient Egypt. So you may be finding that you're getting more and more drawn to that. So you may want to study, you know, some of those gods and goddesses. Isis, Osiris, Bast, I think is the cat. So you may want to start looking into that. Okay, so they were tied to ancient Egyptians. In fact, our current new year was celebrated as the coming of Supdet, the goddess queen of Sirius, as during the last week of December. Sirius can be seen found high in the sky between midnight and dawn. The Sirius star system is the home of a race of humanoid beings who most likely live in a dimension higher than our own. It's believed that these beings can be contacted through spiritual practice. Tuning into them can enable us to receive high-frequency spiritual downloads. This card draws the bright light of Sirius and the support of Sirian star beings into our world. When it comes to us, it helps us find light in moments of darkness and uncertainty. Okay, you can't make this stuff up. Finding light in moments of darkness. Dark night of the soul. I mean, I just got chills. Wow. Okay, so to continue on, and to help you continue on, if you feel strongly connected to Sirius and its star beings, it's likely you are connected to them on a spiritual level. And if you take time to locate the star in the sky, you might even have a sense of coming home. Find an image of Sirius online or look for the star in the sky. Imagine a great beam of light coming down from it and washing over your being. Know that the electric blue frequency will be supporting you as you move forward. The message that comes with this gateway is a giant yes. It brings the energy of wishing on a star and seeing that wish come true. This is a time for you to move forward with any projects or ideas you felt called to carry out. There's an energy of positivity, abundance, and excitement surrounding you at this time. Whatever dreams you've been revisiting recently aren't dreams, but premonitions. Know that whatever you're connecting with on the inside is soon to be something you'll be experiencing in the physical. So think about what you desire instead of what you fear. See yourself celebrating as if your wildest dreams have come true. As you do so, you'll be creating the perfect energy for them to manifest in your world. And so I love this because this part that says whatever dreams you've been revisiting recently aren't dreams, but premonitions. Know whatever you're connecting with on the inside is soon to be something you'll be experiencing in the physical. So Whereas someone showing up for you in you know, this is external connection. The journey that we're on when we get triggered and we have to, right? It's about what we're connecting internally. That's what, and then it's like, once you start focusing on that inward journey, you see tangible results. That's the pearl. So I can't believe how all this is tied together. This is about focusing on your own happiness, your own inner light, your own inner validation, connecting to spirit, connecting to the spirit, you know, spiritual awakening. You may want to look at that video as well. I have a link to that down below. You know, if you think you may be starting to go through a spiritual awakening. But this person, you know, it's very hard to move forward. But know that when you start to look at it as a beautiful gift that they've given you to spark and trigger you to recognize and start to peel away the layers of all the sludge and the conditioning and the programming, and it's like you start to discover your authentic self, right? It may not be that like you were destined to be with this person like you had wanted. That's not maybe how the story goes, right? But when you flow with, you know, how things go, and you say, okay, well, maybe the story is, gosh, I'm starting to love myself and learn who I am as a person, and this is freaking amazing. You start to write your own chapter, and it may end up looking a lot different than you imagined, but at the same time, a few months down the road, a few years down the road, you may look back and say, oh my God, I wouldn't change a damn thing. This is why it happened, right? This was the purpose. And you recognize it as a gift, and then you start attracting so many amazing things, right? You can't control other people who need to do their work. All you can focus on is your own growth, your own spark, your own light, your own passion, and your own happiness. And once you learn to create that within yourself and your own life, and all the people who do show up for you, you know, there's really not anything else you need, and anything else is like a cherry on top. So easier said than done, I know. It's taken me a long time to get here, many years, but you know, I'm telling you, you've got a lot of support here, not just with people like me, but with you know, like-minded people, and with the spirit realm, with connecting out in nature, connecting with the stars, connecting to the angels. You can ask them for guidance and help anytime, and ask for signs and synchronicities that you're on the right path, and you may start seeing numbers, getting feathers, coins. Once you tap into that and you start realizing you have support in all realms, it really does change your life. So I hope that was helpful. And again, if you'd like to book a session to look into your specific situation, that information is down below. Thanks so much. Until next time, take care.